Hello everyone, and welcome to Fantasycraft The Last City, Part 27. I am your host and GM for this evening, Austin Ramsey. My pronouns are he and him, and this stream, as always, is presented by You Don't Meet in an Inn, an actual play podcast about exploring obscure tabletop role-playing games with a rotating cast. You can find both the podcast and myself on Twitter at NotAnIn, that's NOTANINN, and you can find any of my game design work at austin-ramsey.itch.io. And keep an eye out for my Kickstarter for Beam Saber, which should be launching, if everything goes right, on March 2nd, 2020. This evening, I'm of course joined by Christine.
Hi, I'm Christine. My pronouns are she or they. I'm playing Dorothy, the unborn mage.
Thank you. Also with us this evening is Sasha.
Hi, I'm Sasha. My pronouns are NNs. I'm playing a tree, what's got guns on it, and I'm gonna be riding a moose today. So just be ready for that, I guess.
For those who have decided to jump in on episode 27.
I don't know. Listen, you gotta make it friendly to people. You gotta onboard whatever you can.
Yeah. And of course, last but never least, Hadrian.
That's me. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm playing Viper, the Bloodsworn.
Wonderful. Thank you all for being here. Okay, so who wants to tell us what happened last week?
We had a long and good conversation with a number of heads that were attached to a medical professional. And there was a lot of talking last session. We picked out a crew to go hang out with the worm with, and we may or may not be wiping out an entire people with what we're gonna do, and that's totally fine.
Yeah, that's definitely what we all agreed upon.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
No
just
problems.
a chill thing that's gonna happen.
Okay then. All right. I guess. I mean, that's a fair summary. I don't have anything to add. Okay, so you have your crew together, which, as a reminder, is comprised of Maybelle Seaworthy, your sort of lead trainer and apothecary for the crew. Domino Blessed. What's Domino again? I believe Domino's an entertainer, if I'm remembering correctly. No, Domino's a guide. Right. A Root Walker guide. And you're also joined by Greg the Gaff, who is a con man. Tika Tidehunter, who's a fortune teller. Fartia Gerhardt, who is... that's one of the entertainers. And Fartia is human. Domino and Greg were both root walkers. Mabel's human. Tika is a Saurian. You also got Amber Firetender with you, who is...
Another Root Walker.
Yeah, y'all loaded up on tree folk for this journey through the woods. Well, not through the woods per se. There's not much in the way of... we'll get to that anyways. Yes, a Root Walker, another entertainer. Beware of daredevilry. Greta Falconer, who is another guide. Lance Quintana, who's a fighty boy. And Billiam, who is a fledgling Graven Guard. And essentially family of Vipers.
My boy.
Yeah. So, you've got this crew gathered on deck. Here's a little question. So they have like various pieces of gear that they would have just because of the various NPC classes, so to speak, that they are. Do you give them any of the like inventory that you have that you bought for the crew? Like any of the short bows or boarding pistols or the blunderbuss or any of that kind of stuff?
I feel like yes. I feel like it is smart to outfit them for this extraordinarily dangerous journey. Yeah.
Okay.
So I can throw out the doors of the place where we keep the armory. There it is, and just have at it. Just have a good time.
Okay. So I think Lance says he's good because he's got, like, he's already decked out. He brought his good stuff from home when he heard what the deal was with the latest voyage. So he's actually like in chainmail. He's got a helmet. He's got like a shield and a glaive and a sword.
He already has his guns.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sleeveless chainmail.
Yeah, oh my god, yes.
Jesus Christ.
Chainmail crop tee.
Oh. God, you know what's wild about Fantasycraft is that so you can, you know, like buy the gear that is listed in the in like this the gear section, right? Or the armor that's listed in the gear section. It also explicitly has rules for descriptive armor for you to like be like, I think their example might actually be Cloud from Final Fantasy VII, if I'm recalling correctly. And they tell you like explicitly, this is how you would make this armor for this character using this gear. So they're like, we could actually stat out a chainmail crop top if we were so inclined.
God, this is a good game.
My guess is it would be partial chainmail.
Isn't there also the fan service style trait with the less you're armored, the like...
It's like if you're wearing partial armor, then you, when you taunt someone, you also daze them. You know, give them the old Mardi Gras special.
Yeah, if Lance were a special character, he would definitely, that would be his first feat.
Slut basics.
Let's see, the two guides, they already have bows and a machete each. So they're good. Tika takes you up on the offer and... what would she rather have, a crossbow or a boarding pistol? I think she'd rather have a crossbow for the range, because she's got a dagger. So, she's good with that. Same goes for the entertainers, because they also have daggers already. And, I think, let's see, Greg, same, he's got a sap. Actually, Greg and Maybell, they both take a crossbow and a boarding pistol. Because saps aren't going to do anything to a sparked, since they do subdual damage.
To be clear, Greg takes 2 weapons because he's a coward. Maybell takes 2 weapons because she's cool as fuck.
Yeah, that's fair, honestly. Yeah. Greg takes the crossbow to shoot them at long range, and then when they rush him, to shoot them at close range with a boarding pistol. Maybell takes the crossbow to shoot them at long range, and then takes the boarding pistols that she can shoot them when she rushes them. Yeah. Okay. So basically the only thing is that a couple of crossbows come out, and then a couple of boarding pistols. Okay. All right. So y'all have gathered on the deck. Everyone's geared up. Lance is the only one with any like armor of note, really. So.
And it's metal armor, which is like maybe questionable choice at best.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't give him like vulnerability electricity, to be fair, but at any rate. So yeah, they look to you, V.
Everybody gets breakfast. I just have to decide what I'm making.
Now, honey, I want to make sure you have a big meal before you go off to dine.
I forget what the bonuses are. God, this happens every time.
If I may make a suggestion,
I'm happy to hear it.
I think it is a hearty meal that gives you a bonus to fortitude saves,
Yeah.
which helps you resist the sickened condition if you get hit by electricity. Alternatively, you could make everybody coffee or tea, which would give them a bonus to reflex saves in the hopes that they don't get hit by that electricity in the first place.
Let's do that hearty meal. Let's get that fortitude up.
Okay. Alrighty. And you've got the Man of Reason ability.
Yes.
So give me a cooking roll, a craft roll to see what results you get. But because you have Man of Reason, you're gonna the minimum result is gonna be 20 plus your keeper level, which is I think 1 or 2.
Swank. That's just excuse me. That's just crafting, right?
Yeah, just a crafting roll.
Okay.
Nat 20.
Wow.
Hey,
Do you want to activate that?
would that do anything?
More coffee.
I mean, hell, if I can get the hearty and the coffee, I'll fucking do it.
Or sorry, not. Basically, I forgot that you're getting hardy. So basically, it'll give you more hardy. Not like the bonus will be bigger. I'll say that it'll give you you won't have the materials to prepare this while you are out journeying, and it's a 2-day trip. So you'll, instead of having enough hearty food for the first day, you'll have enough hearty food for both days on the way there.
Hell yeah, absolutely. I'll spend for that.
Okay. Alrighty.
That's the real nice thing about this stuff is it keeps.
I suppose with that, we should probably go over to the play screen. Since we're rolling dice already, we're in it. Okay, so it's going to be a 2-day journey from the ship to Mount Atlas. There's sort of 2 different paths you can try and take. One is to essentially go through the lowlands of the mountain range of the spine the entire way, or you can skirt around those lowlands, which I guess are probably more like highlands, and go along the well, Sasha, this is your island to design. So what is the hex directly north of Fort Starfall? That is is that plains? Is that desert? What is this terrain here?
I think it's probably plains, yeah, a lot of grassland and sort of there are trees, but they're sort of few and far between.
It's kind of like a scrubland.
Yeah.
Savannah. Ah, okay. Alright, is there any other... There are no other major settlements on this island other than Fort Starfall. Okay. Alright. So, everyone's had their good hearty meal. What does that look like?
I don't have food porn lined up for this. Is I don't know, something. We got a lot of fish, so it's probably a lot of fish.
Good fish stew?
Yeah, I got some lemons in it. That's the end of my list.
Lemon and potato fish stew.
scurvy proofed for one more day.
So just like it just added in like a really gorgeous description of like the food that you want to eat before you go and meet the death god. That's just backfill. Just edit that later.
All right, I'll let you send me the pickup.
My favorite.
Thank you.
Okay. So everyone's had their lemon and fish, and just leaving that space in there so that we can put that in later. Stew.
Mm-hmm.
And they all look to you, V.
Speech time. Alright, well, let's go over the plan, that as it stands now. We have our scouting party here, who will be splitting off from the ship and going up to the mountain and saying hello, to the worm that lives at the base of it. See what can be done about this storm god business. The rest of you will be staying here and enjoying the what's the word?
Amenities?
Amenities, the company. Excuse me. Hospitality. There it is. The hospitality of Fort Starfall, and not starting any wars, and we should be back in a couple of days. If you can find out things without starting a fight, that would be great. I have nothing but the highest belief and trust in you, and we'll see you soon.
All right.
I salute with 6 hands.
I want
1,
to...
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I think a couple hours before this, maybe while you were planning out the meal you were going to cook, there was a knock at your door.
Yes?
Captain, can I have a word with you? It's Hanar.
Of course. Anytime.
I'm just gonna take this ship and leave. That's okay.
So she comes in and she says, Captain, permission to speak frankly?
Granted.
What you have planned is extremely dangerous, and there's a good chance you might not come back. At the least, you're allotted time. I know the plan is 2 days there, maybe a day to stay, figure it out, and 2 days back.
Mm-hmm.
How many days should I wait for us to sail around the edge of the island and up the river that goes to the base of Mount Atlas?
That is a very good question. If we are not back within the week, day 8, start sailing.
All right. And are your orders to come ashore and investigate Mount Atlas?
Oh yes.
All right.
If you have not seen my beautiful faces in that time, please do come get me.
I think she laughs and she says, no save yourselves business here, eh?
Absolutely not.
Select as much as you can and clone me.
I can appreciate that, Captain. We'll come looking for you on day 8.
Good. Assuming you do not get signals to the contrary, of course. But yes, that is a good standard plan of action. Thank you for asking.
We'll keep an eye out, but I don't know. I don't know whether or not we'll be able to see those flares you launch up from here. But I suppose at night, much better chance of that happening. I'll keep someone in the crow's nest, and I to the north.
Good. Excellent.
Okay, so that's just the little flashback I wanted to have.
Appreciate it.
Is there any other scenes that anyone wanted to have before you leave the ship with any of the crew who are staying behind? Or any of the crew who are coming with and you just want to have a word beforehand?
No standouts, at least for me.
Okay. Sounds like it's time for Worm Party to get going.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, the three of you and Gentleman Moose and Foxglove and Dog, I presume, lead the way off the ship with the exploratory party at your back. I think Lance is bringing up the rear. And you walk along the dock, and there's still like a crowd of the Sparked here. Even though it's been like probably an entire night, right? I'm just guessing you're setting off in the morning, I think it's safe to say. And so they're watching. They don't like, I think they speak a little bit amongst themselves, but they really aren't sure what to make of you all. The medical professional is still there sitting, like, at some point it left and then came back. So it's sitting there, and as you approach, it says, "Are you leaving?"
Yes, we are headed to Mount Atlas, as we described before. But we will be coming back, and I am leaving the ship along with most of the crew in port until then.
All right. I look forward to your return.
As do I.
The crew who you brought with are extremely unnerved by the crowd and by the doctor. But
One
you're...
last handshake for luck, of course.
Yeah. But you're like... The three of you aren't freaking out or like seem especially on guard, so everyone's keeping their cool, taking their lead from y'all. And you make your way north through this town, and it's eerie because it's sort of like, it's like one part ghost town to one part small town. Like, you'll pass by sections where there's Sparked going about their business, whatever that may be. Some of them working on buildings, some of them talking, some of them exchanging goods. All of them like stop and stare whatever they're doing. Stop whatever they're doing and stare as your group passes. Not in a like offended at your presence kind of way, but just in curiosity. So you pass through sections like that, and then there are other parts of the town that you pass through that are just empty. There is no sign of anyone, any living person here. Just like shutters swinging freely in the breeze, slapping against the wall. Bell rings idly on storefront in the wind.
I think it's hard not to look into, like, in the same way that that the sparked are like peering out at us. I think Madame V is peering back in at them, because that's just as curious to her, I think.
Oh, to be clear, the like areas where it's a ghost town, there isn't anyone in these buildings, right? Like, they're just empty. There's just nothing going on here. And then you'll pass into another section that's inhabited. I think as you're passing through one of these ghost town sections, Greg comes up to you, V, and says, "Hey, Captain. From what I can tell, these fine folk aren't using these sections of town. Think we could have a look inside some of them?"
On the way back, yeah. There's no sense in carrying a bunch of stuff up a mountain.
Yeah, sure, of course.
Don't slow us down, Greg.
Of course not, Captain. And he sort of like, with a thoughtful look on his face, goes to like back down the line. And so then towards the edge of the town, you reach a section that is different from any of the ones that you've come to before. This area is inhabited, but there have been extensive modifications to the buildings. They have, like, the windows have been bricked up or barred or chained shut, and from inside you can absolutely hear things banging at the walls and like the odd discharge of electricity.
Yeah, there's our good friends.
Mm-hmm.
That a wide berth.
It's like a whole section of town, and there's a few of like the friendly sparked here who are keeping an eye on things, but it's impossible to know just how many are inside of any of these buildings.
Well, the less time spent in this section of the city, the better.
Yeah. I definitely think the crew is jumpier in this section.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think, who is it? Amber. I think she actually accidentally looses a crossbow bolt into, like, the side of a building.
Hey, Amber, why is that loaded in the first place?
Well, because I wasn't sure when we'd need it.
Give me the crossbow.
No.
Touché.
Well, can't argue with that. All right, let's just keep our fingers off of triggers until we're outside of town, everyone.
Yeah, okay.
Trigger discipline, folks, please.
Okay. All right, and then you like pass through that section of town, and you're basically on the outskirts. The
I do have a question. Did we ever meet our guide?
did you agree? I wasn't sure if you had decided on getting one.
I thought we did. Stock Bigham said something about an explorer.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So you, excuse me, you reach the edge of town, and there is a spark standing there, with like a pack on and a bunch of ropes, and they appear to be like they're about the same size as Viper, a much lankier build, and they have like long blue hair down to like their mid back, and like the same sort of like occasional sparks of electricity running around them as they wait for you. And as you get closer, they say, "Greetings. The medical professional suggested that I should aid you in your journey to the north."
Yes, excellent. Hello. Hi, yes, I'm Captain B, and this is everyone else.
I think they look at Viper, or actually, I think they look at Gentleman Moose and say, "Greetings, everyone else. Greetings, Captain V."
Oh, we're gonna get along just fine. Do you have something you go by, something people call you? A name?
I am often referred to as the Northerner.
The Northerner. Alright. Excellent.
And if you'll follow me, I will lead you to that mountain.
Fantastic. Lead away.
And so they take point in front of Gentleman Moose and start the walk.
I should say up front, our company tends to run afoul of first generation sparks. That is an issue that is going to come up and that we should figure out a solution to.
I had been warned of that.
What are your thoughts?
I am unsure about what to do about this issue because they're not aggressive towards me or my kind. I would prefer that they remain unharmed, but it is hard to judge whether one kill is of equal value to another kill.
I'm also interested in things not coming to blows whenever possible. The good thing about the sparks not giving you any trouble is that if there are big, we can at least avoid big groups and obvious encounters, and be perhaps led around them, because you going ahead and scouting isn't going to bother them as much as, say, one of us.
Yes, that is what I shall do. I shall alert you to any that I see, and we shall proceed around them to the best of our ability.
Excellent.
From the back, Greg's like, "I'm shooting first, asking questions later."
You do that, I will do the same to you, Greg.
But I'm one of the crew, Captain.
Uh-huh.
Touche.
I think he just like stops in his tracks and like everyone just keeps walking past him. And like Lance gives him a hearty pat on the back as he's passing. He reaches up to do that.
When Lance walks by, he slaps him on the back and says, "She got your ass."
And then he like realizes that he's being left behind and he like quickly hustles forward. So, is there anything anyone wants to do on this initial day of travel?
So it's mostly just scrublands, right? Like, are there settlements out here? Like, are there buildings out here?
I think there are definitely buildings out here. I think what you can see after like walking this way is that takes some. Yeah, this wouldn't be too hidden. Is that you can see that this land was farmland. Like, it's had, almost a decade of going to seed. So it's easy to miss the, like, farmhouses and barns that have collapsed or been knocked down by one thing or another. And it's easy to miss the low walls separating plots or the rows of fields themselves, since they've now become overgrown. There's probably like, a natural mix of whatever might have been planted in that very last season of planting and whatever has blown in naturally over the years. So there's probably actually pretty good forage in this area, in amongst the naturally grown plants. But yeah, it does sort of like, in totality, create a scrubland as you described it, because it's not orchards out here, right? There's like the odd tree that's a windbreak, or some families like apple tree or whatever. But for the most part, it's farmers' fields that have gone to grass and have like a few crops that have continued to thrive.
I think every so often, I will like pause. I'm not stopping the group, but I will pause and pick up a clipping of something, something especially beautiful or especially fragrant, just for my own collection.
Mm-hmm. Anyone doing anything else? Okay. All right. In that case, I'm gonna make the search roll for the Northerner and see what they can spot. Let's see. So they have search 4. Y'all are level 6?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so they get a 22 for their search. And okay. So, getting into midday, they come back and they approach you, V, and they say, Captain V, there's a large group of the first stage ahead, and a couple of large ones as well. We can go around them, but I am worried that it may take us into areas that I'm unfamiliar with.
How unfamiliar are we talking?
I know a few trails, but if we encounter another such group and try to avoid them, we may become lost. And although it is easy to see our goal from here, it is much harder to find the base than it is to see the peak.
Well, you're the Northerners, so I'll trust you on it. think I'll nod to Dorothy and Viper to come join the huddle. So we've got the devils we know, and we've got potentially getting further lost. How are we feeling?
I feel like we can't get too lost.
We do have like 6 guides, including yourself.
Yeah. I'm not in the mood for extraneous killing.
Okay. We will.
Especially not keen to have them watch. She nods to the northerner.
Agreed on both counts.
I say we take our chances.
Yeah.
I'm also going to cast Pass Without Trace on. Wait.
I was gonna ask, how many people are you able to cast that on?
I casting level 6, I think. Yeah, so I'll be able to cast it on 6 people. So I'll cast it on the clumsiest of the group.
Yes. Good call.
Is it a concentration spell, or does it have a duration? Because if it's...
It's 6 hours long.
Okay, so you could cast it more than once if you were so inclined. 1, 2, 3, 4,
That is how
5,
things work,
6,
isn't it?
7, 8, 9. So including the northerner, and not including the 3 of you and your mounts, there are 10 people. So...
Yeah, I'll cast it twice.
Okay. So if you're going to cast it twice, who are you not casting it on? Because there's 13 sets of tracks to mask.
No, isn't someone's riding Dutch with Gentleman Moose, right?
Is that true? Viper, are you also on Gentleman Moose?
No.
Oh.
Someone can ride up here with me. That's totally fine. It can be any of the crew. We're interested in getting cozy.
2 mediums, or yeah.
Okay. How about Maybell sits up behind you and with a crossbow?
Nice. Perfect.
She's riding shotgun.
No, she's riding crossbow. Perfect.
Yes, how dare you? Madam V rides shotgun for herself.
Do you have a blunderbuss, V?
I don't. I have a musket, a derringer, and too many boarding pistols.
Okay, I'm not cursed either time,
Nice.
but I am 2 spell points down.
Okay. So what exactly does Pass Without Trace do?
Track checks made to locate 1 character per casting level automatically fail, so we cannot be tracked.
Okay. Alright. Well, that's good.
And as specified before, when we're walking through the environment, like all the vegetation like parts for us and then returns back into its natural form, and our footsteps. We make footsteps, but they immediately like rise up and reform again.
Cool. Alright. What does it look like as you're doing the casting?
Nothing spectacular. I'm using my masterwork mage kit, so I'm just sort of like concentrating while riding the dog and chanting.
Okay.
At range, do you have to touch everyone?
No, I don't have to. I can touch everyone. Well, because it's personal and touch. So, oh wait, no, I do have to touch everyone. Just high-fiving everyone riding through with my dog. That's how I do it.
Okay. I think, let's see. Who'd... I think as you, like, are doing this, Tika is watching you extremely closely.
It's like fingers tented and
Yeah, because they... Tika's... I think Tika's she, her. Yeah. Because she wants you to, like, teach her how to do bigger magic than what she knows.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, you cast that on everyone, and I think who would say this? Yeah, it's probably Amber. Amber's like, I'm very glad that we have a spellcaster with us, a full spellcaster. Tika like glares
Wow.
at them
Damn.
a bit, and she continues. This will certainly bode well for our journey and our task ahead.
The Viper falls back a little bit and she's like, yep, I can guarantee you nothing ever goes wrong when Dorothy's around.
Yep.
Well, that just sounds sarcastic and is beginning to worry me.
Do you know how many operas we put on and never once burned down the auditorium?
Yeah, no one ever talks about the fires I don't start.
Well, that provides me with a great many more questions that I think perhaps I will hold on to for later. Okay. So you move into the Highlands, and you begin going over the, like, what you might consider, like, deer paths through the hills, or goat paths, rather. Making fairly good time. And you find a spot as the sun is beginning to set. And the northerner says, we should rest here. I have stayed at this spot before when traveling, and it is relatively comfortable, even for a group of this size. There's a stream nearby which we can make use of. I've been told that you consume the liquid.
Most of us do, yes.
Yes, there is some of that nearby. I hope it is of use to you.
I hope so too.
And they say, I am unsure of what your needs are. Is there something I can do to aid you in your preparations for the darkness?
Right. Well, how about you walk me through what your usual nighttime process is like? And I'll fill in the gaps as we go.
Well, if I have tasks to complete, I do them. If I do not, and have nothing else to do, and I am alone, then I sit. If I am not alone, then I sit and converse.
Excellent. That sounds about right. That we have a couple of extra things that we're going to do. A number of us are going to eat, consume, as you said. I don't think we need any help with that. You're welcome to join us if the mood strikes you. But if you would like to just sort of sit and talk with folks, that is more than welcome. Do you drink anything? Do you need water? I know you don't like salt water. I know you don't like the sea, but do you need water?
No.
Well, okay, this is just a question. That's good. That's good. Well, many of us do, so it is good to have a stream nearby. We will deal with that at some point tonight. The majority of us are going to be very still for some time. Probably like 6 to 8 hours, ideally. A couple of us won't. I think we will probably have a couple of shifts of people just sort of watching on watch, just in case. That's just good practices that we're going to keep up. But for the most part, when people are, say, lying down or have their eyes closed, are sort of breathing evenly, it is good to be quiet around them. To let them do that, because that is where a bunch of our energy comes from.
Huh.
Do you have any questions?
Many.
They have many questions. Yep. Okay.
Is it dark yet?
It's probably like getting dark.
Okay. I'll wait for it to be dark before I cast a flare up.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I don't really want to go over like every single question that they might have about eating and sleeping and like setting up a watch and you know.
I think there are equal number of questions going back and forth at this point. Like there's a lot that Madam B is curious about, and I think also at some point Madam B will pull over one of the other trackers and be like, I want to compare notes here.
Yeah. So I think some of the guides go out foraging, and they come back with like, what do you call it? Like very small game, you might say.
Yeah. Anything less than a pound?
Yeah, basically. They're like, let's see. I think Greta is one of them. Yeah, Greta, she's like, it's real weird out there, boss. I mean, I haven't exactly had a lot of practice in the last few years, you know, being stuck in Enclave and all, but there's nothing out there. Like, you saw what we brought back for food. It's like berries and bugs.
I wonder if moving from I think this is an idle thought that I'm sharing with Dorothy quietly. But I wonder if moving from stage 1 to stage 2 consumes a lot of flesh. Because there were a lot fewer people in the city. And they're perhaps out of it, like person to person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does that seem likely to you?
I don't know. There's not really enough data for me to speculate on that.
Well, if it's not the process, then something else is taking. We're thinking about it anyway.
Is there anything anyone else wants to do during the night? Dorothy, since you don't sleep, what are you up to?
Probably answering questions. We still have another day's worth of the fortified food, right?
Yeah, starting, yeah.
Okay. I have good berry if we need something else. Yeah, I better let out a flare, I guess. And I am not cursed. Yay.
Okay, and what's this flare doing?
It's just a green light, letting them know that we're still alive tonight.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure they'll see it because it has a range of 250 feet, and it's a 60-foot spear.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Pretty big.
it big and high.
All right. And you mentioned setting up a watch. What's the plan with that?
I just reckoned betwixt our fighty boys and our eagle-eyed folks, it would just be like, I don't know, 2 6-hour shifts should be fine. That gives everybody enough time to sleep.
Yeah, sure. Okay. And
These rolls are 4.
It's fine.
okay.
These unlabeled GM rolls.
Yeah. So, at some point, are any of the three of you taking watch?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Viper will probably stay up. For first watch, she's not going to get up once she's gone to sleep, that's for sure.
Yeah. But I just think it's funny that, like, the two of you are like, yeah, and silence from V.
She's already asleep. What do you want?
Captain's
Listen.
prerogative.
For one, also for two, like the process, especially on the road, of putting
sleeping
myself down and also bringing myself up is a whole fucking thing.
It's a mood.
V has a hard time getting out of planter.
Well, it's a process. You know, I have to put my faces on. It's a whole thing.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just picturing V with like face mask on and little like cucumbers sleeping in the woods.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
You think this duty comes naturally? No, I have a routine to keep. Thank you.
Dorothy, give me a notice roll or a search roll. Depends. Are you like during the second watch? Are you actively like being part of the watch, or are you just awake?
I get better bonus for notice. So I guess I'm just awake. 14.
Okay. So, Viper, someone's shaking you awake. And you hear Lance say, "Yo, Viper! Viper!
One eye
Viper!
open. What?
There's something out there."
Fuck. And she sort of groans and swings herself up.
Dorothy, what are you doing that has you, like... Hold on. Wait, was that... Oh, actually, Dorothy, you do notice this. My apologies. You can tell that there is something out there in the dark, in the hills. So, y'all are sort of... Let's go over to the tactical screen.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Mostly just because then I have space to draw.
Mm-hmm.
Oops, too zoomed out. Okay. Let me look at all of our wonderful drawings.
Delete.
Oops. I did. Yeah, I should have probably tidied this up a bit beforehand.
Guests are coming.
What's the fun in that?
Just trying very carefully not to delete anyone's characters. There. Okay.
I got my health bars refilled. That's the main thing here.
Yeah, okay. So, I think y'all are sort of like on like a plateau between there's sort of like you're on a plateau with the hill continuing on upwards above you, going downwards on across from that where the like stream passes by, and then the stream itself is in like a little valley, like just a small one, more of like a gutter almost, right?
Like a big ditch.
Yeah, a ditch. That's the word I'm looking for. The stream's like going through a ditch, and then the hill continues upwards across from the plateau. So let me just do a nice quick drawing. Oh, why did you change back to green? Okay. So we'll say that that's the stream. A very square stream.
Canal.
Yeah.
Canal left over from the irrigations for the farms.
Actually, that very well might be. And then there's like a slope on the other side of it. A similar slope over here. And then there's like the like plateau that y'all are on. And then another slope going further upwards. And the plateau you're on is sort of like this, just the one little area. Like, it basically ends at either end and then slopes downwards or upwards as appropriate. So whoa, why is it, what the hell?
What do you?
Oh, just the painting tool in Roll20 was behaving weird and it wouldn't unclick. Anyways, not important. So let's get y'all set up. Okay. So everyone should be on the plateau, to be clear. In this square dark green area.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's where y'all were resting. So put yourselves where you think you might be while I set up the your crew. Let's see. Who do we got? Okay, there we go. Okay, so Tika, Greta.
So, Moose can sleep while standing. Do you just sort of hang an awning off the side of his saddle to make a tent for yourself?
I can't say that I didn't think about it. I was also imagining. Well, I was weighing the pros and cons of like curling up next to a moose for sleep. That's probably pretty good, but also after riding all day, probably pretty stinky. So I don't know.
Actually, I'm pretty sure the Scythians, after they were done riding, they would have their horse lie down and then they would use them as sleeping, like
Yeah.
pillows, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Every horse girl's dream.
Yeah. Oh, there's definitely Gentleman Moose is definitely part of the routine. Gets scrubbed down and pampered a bit as well.
Yeah, you can't put them away wet, right?
Yeah. It's a cohesive look, you know. It works in concert. Everything's got to work together.
I think Dog is probably curled up near Viper, because Viper's probably the one who treats her like an actual like
True.
animal.
Poor dog.
Viper also has a history of people just sleeping on and around her all the time anyway, so.
Little puppy pile.
Mm-hmm.
Cuddle puddle. Okay. Let's see, and let's Tia. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. Really? I thought there would have been more Bard images available for free.
You just put in some like instruments.
Yeah, that's sort of my backup.
So you can just find a fiddle. That'll do.
You know, of all the entertainers not to be available for free, I feel like Bard is it. I feel like Bard's got it figured out. Well, it's a hard lesson, but long learned.
Okay, so we got two entertainers with us. One's a human. The other is a root walker. So the big the big fiddle will be.
That's a lute, Austin.
Yeah, I was gonna say the 10-foot by 10-foot lute.
It's as wide as it's tall.
What if that was what the root walker bard was? Just like they carved like an instrument into their body.
Oh, that'd be
Hilarious
rad.
if we'd thought of that.
I mean,
Start the campaign over.
We still have described them.
Next
so
campaign. Yeah.
No, we can do it now.
then we've got root walker guide, who is big. Just Domino, and let's see. I'm gonna just put in thief for Greg. Not gonna try and find a con man. Maybe it's in here, but you know what? I'm just gonna save myself the trouble. Who else is there? Lance, right.
Had a wee blob with a knife, which is, yeah, that's a thief.
We'll use one of the good old guards for Lance. And let's see. We did Amber, the big loot. I've got Tika there. I've got Vortia, the little loot. Okay, so I just need Billiam and Maybell. What? Any suggestions for Billiam?
I don't know if you can find like a martial artist or something, probably. Or just an, I don't know, just an elf.
Yeah, okay. We'll use this for Maybell. And elf. Yeah, we'll use this for Billiam. There we go. So let's see. Let's see. Greg's asleep. I think Maybell is awake. Billiam is awake. I think the two entertainers are asleep.
Sorry, who is this?
That's
Who
Maybell.
is this?
The sexy
Cyberpunk
nurse
buddy?
is the cyberpunk sexy nurse is portraying the part of Mabel Seaweather, a wizened matron in her late 50s.
Those things are not opposites. They can exist together.
I work with what I got. And what I got is the free tokens.
Honestly, she's so ahead of her time.
Mm-hmm. Trendsetter.
Oh wait, who was the other guide? Because you had another guide, right?
Is it
Yeah, you had
Anna?
Greta. Oh right, Greta's
Greta.
the cat person anyways. Okay. So I don't need this token. Okay. So your crew's just kind of like... Actually, Lance is next to you, Viper. Right, that's Greg. Yeah, your crew's just kind of all sort of scattered around this plateau.
Where did we hear the noise?
You hear it coming from the west, from the other side of the river.
How
And
far away?
so there's sort of like the slope on the other side of the river sort of like comes up to a ridge. You know what it looks like when there is a hill that has sort of like caved in down into the gully below, how it's almost sort of shaped like a wave, right? With like a grass fringe at the top instead of the white of water. So the slope is sort of shaped like that. And like the stream at the bottom has like full of rocks and stuff. It's definitely one like the sort of stream that would dry out in like high summer. So yeah, I don't think Yeah, I already let y'all put yourselves where you think you were. I don't think you have time to like get much of a plan together, right? You certainly don't have time for an ambush roll, unfortunately. So instead, let's get everyone's initiative rolls.
Okay. 24 for Viper.
Okay, hold on to those for a second. 5, 6, 7.
Up It's a 1, baby. I'm sleeping through this fight.
Okay.
Madam V is spending the whole first round making sure her nightgown is tied close.
That would just be unseemly. Okay. 4. Wow, 7. Sorry, Tika has, I mean, perhaps not surprising for a fortune teller, very high initiative modifier. But I think the average comes out to about initiative 4, so I'm just going to roll once for the whole crew. They get 8. Okay. Gonna need much bigger text than that. Okay. So Viper, what did you get?
24.
24. Okay. So 2. Got 22. So 1 got 19. Dorothy, what did you get?
Dorothy has 23, Foxglove has 6, and Dog has 20.
Dorothy has 23. Dog has 6, and Foxglove.
No, Foxglove has 6, Dog has 20.
Oh. Foxglove.
Foxglove also
He's napping.
very involved wake up routine.
She's trying to keep her nightgown closed.
V, what was yours?
That's a 7 with a crit 1, so
7. Okay, and the crew got 8. All right. Is there anyone I am forgetting? I don't think so. Okay. Oh, oops, that is the wrong layer. There we go. That is also, now I'm in the wrong layer. Okay. It's also much smaller than it showed initially. There we go. Okay. So, Viper, what do you want to do? You know there's something out there.
I know there's something out there, but I don't see it.
Not yet.
I will wait until I can see it.
Fair. Dorothy?
Can you ping on the map where I heard the noise?
Sure. From the west.
One, two. Wait, what's my speed? It's been so long since I've moved. Sorry, ping it again. 2, 4. Then I'm gonna flashbang. Where's my? Everything's so hard to grab.
Do you need help with grabbing your flare?
Yeah.
I don't think I have permissions. Because you drew it.
Okay. Give me a second, everyone. There we go. Okay. And then I'm gonna flash. Dang it! I lost control. I'm gonna flashbang that area.
It's slippery.
It's within range.
Do you need to have line of sight?
No.
Okay.
And then no curse. Woo.
Okay. Could you Could you try and put the circle where you want
I will continue to do this. I will continue to try. Okay.
Okay, after Dorothy does that, Viper's going to take some action here, and that action is going to be to...
Sorry, where did I hear the noise? Ping it again.
Just like
What?
on the other side. So the green, can y'all see the green lines of the slopes, right?
Yep.
Okay, so like the leftmost line is just like a ridge line. Yeah, so like that whole area.
There.
You're
That
gonna,
has been flashbang.
okay. Let me... 1, 2... Alright. Gotta do... It's fortitude? Is that correct? To resist?
Grab that. Flare. Fortitude save or suffer a -1 magic penalty with attack checks for 1d6 rounds.
Okay. And what's the DC?
15.
15, okay. Alright. So, it's 1 failure, 2 failure, 3 failure. Alright.
Right, so for 4 rounds, -1 to attack.
Okay. I will put the little symbols on these so that we know. Alright. Do you, like... Are you able to feel anything when you flashbang them, or is this just like a best guess?
No, it's like the area is lit up, but if it's like outside of our range of sight, then
So yeah, you have no idea as to how effective this was. This was just you lobbing something blindly. Okay.
it's how I do spells. Yes.
Yeah. I just wasn't sure if you could like feel it connect with.
Nah.
Okay. All right. And so Viper, you're now taking your turn.
Yep.
And what do you do?
I've moved up in front of Dorothy, and I will ready to throw my spear if anything aggressive comes over the ridge.
Okay. Well, funny you should mention that. Surprise, surprise. Okay. So, the thing that comes moving... Hold on, let's see if I can do all these at the same time. If that is possible. What comes over the ridge is...
No.
Oh wait, hold on. This is one too many. Whoops. What comes over the ridge is 5 scorpions, each one the size of Gentleman Moose.
Wow, that's even bigger than I thought based on Christ.
Austin always tries to get a scorpion in these games. Giant scorpion.
Honestly, though, you know what? Viper's relieved. She's like, oh, at least they're not people.
Yeah. They are sparked, though.
They're just really cool scorpions, as opposed to rad scorpions.
Yes.
Oh, you.
Is that right? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Yeah, okay. Right. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And they... Let's see.
One of them gets a half-hearted spear hurled at it.
Half-hearted?
11.
Oh, I see. I see what you mean by half-hearted. Okay.
I think what happened was Viper was aiming maybe where, like, a person-shaped head would be, and
You can get the
it
tail.
wound.
Okay, 11. You do not hit.
Yeah, that tracks.
Is that Viper's usual reaction to bugs? Or is it just the
bugs
size of this one?
bugs of unusual size, yes. It would probably be different if this was like a ladybug the size of Gentleman Moose, but
I don't know, mate. Like ladybugs are pretty.
actually ladybugs are
creepy.
kind of vicious. That
They're
example.
bastards.
Getting
If this were
mates.
If this were say like a caterpillar the size of Gentleman Moose, the spear might not be the first reaction.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you throw that, and I think you hit it, but it just like bounces off of its hide, off of
Yeah,
its
that
carapace.
It makes a lot of sense.
And then they are going to move forward again. Oops.
Let's get into grappling range.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's gonna try and go around that bush.
This is largely unimportant, but have we tried eating sparked meat yet? Has that happened?
No, because all the ones you've encountered, well, except for the birds actually, but they all fell into the ocean, I think, for the most part.
Yeah. People get weird about eating humanoids. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Just food for
People
thought.
do get weird about that. You're right.
Yeah, so they continue moving forward towards. Two of them rush Viper. One of them starts to go around the side of Viper, and then two of them are going flanking up towards the plateau around the point of the spear that is Viper with Dorothy behind her. Now it's Dog's turn. What's Dog gonna do?
Dog is going to get into total defense around Lance. This is Lance, right? Yeah, it's Lance. How do I make him sit? Yeah,
Is
good doggo.
Dog actually large or medium?
Dog is medium.
Okay, that token is way too big.
Yes. Large heart though. No, I hate it.
Well,
I just squished the dog.
Oh, I hate that so much.
still the same width.
It's just, you know, when they modify films for screen, right? For TV.
This dog is in the incorrect aspect ratio.
It's just an absolute unit.
Went from a greyhound to a bulldog in one click.
There It's full size for them. You got the black bars on either side.
Okay. So now, right, okay, I can change this to, change that, the foe 2 description to dire scorpion, and the foe 1 description to scorpion.
Which one's the dire one?
Good question.
And is this like traditional ass fantasy game thing where the dire one has like a bunch of spikes on it? That's how you can tell.
Well, you see, the dire scorpions are the giant ones the size of gentleman moose. That's how you can tell that they're dire, is because they
I'm sorry, there are other scorpions?
Yeah. There's other ones the size of dog.
Where? Oh
Where?
God! Oh, I see them now.
Yeah, on the other side of the ridge.
Oh God! I was fine with the big ones, but like the very now I'm not okay.
2-ton scorpions, A-okay. 60-pound scorpions, no.
You know
Honest
what?
to God?
Honestly, the
Honestly?
2-ton ones seem a little more manageable.
Austin, this is a really challenging concept you presented to us as a group.
You know what the greatest tragedy is that I just remembered? Is that in our first encounter with the full crew, our spider handler passed away.
Died immediately. We had someone who could deal with this.
Oh my God! We should have brought Enzo.
We should have brought Enzo.
Yes.
It's losing it. Like it is so angry right now, and it doesn't know why. It's just like,
I'm
I
pretty
know.
sure. I'm pretty sure it would be like, no, that's actually technically not a bug. You see, bugs are. That's why we don't have Enzo with us.
And then we would have to physically throw Ezo at everything as yeah, because that's the only reaction you can have to that kind of pedantry. This is a lot. I don't know why the little ones make it so much worse.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's because there's so many of them.
There's a lot of them. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Because the big guys can't crawl up us. That's the thing.
That is, yeah, it is the other direction going, for the most part, with the ones that are bigger than Gentleman Moves.
Yeah, so they're just running along.
Just scampering, just having
Just
a nice little
scampering.
trundle up the hill. Not bothered at all by that little stream. Don't you worry about that.
Nope.
Well, Viper's doing great. I've stopped 6 of them. That only leaves 7 more for everyone else to deal with. 9 more, excuse me, 9 more.
Yeah, there's
Everyone else.
five of these dire scorpions the size of gentleman moose, and 10 of the ones the size of dog. So it's your crew's turn.
It's okay if they all run. I won't judge them.
We brought ranged weapons.
So some of them wake up. I think as they start hearing like the people who are awake screaming.
Yeah, that's probably most reasonable response.
So those who are asleep stand up, and which is their first half action. And then let's see, Maybell, Billiam, and Greta. Some of them were already awake, so they are going to shoot stuff. And try and kill some of these things, or hurt them at the least. Those who were asleep equipped their weapons. Everybody else is going to open fire with their crossbows or bows, as the case may be. Oh, Mabel has not a good attack stat.
Well, she is an apothecary.
Yeah. Not terribly surprising. Oh, that's actually correct. Wait, was it correct? Yes. Hey, Mabel hits with the crossbow.
She's got the will of a fighter, though.
Let's see, the guides have attack 2, which is the same modifier, but each of them gets to make 2 attacks because they've got bows. So 4 attacks from the guides. That's a miss. Greta misses both of her shots. And who was the other guide again? I think it was Amber? No, wait. Who's the other guide? Greta missed both the shots. Domino. Right, Domino's the big one. Yeah, Domino hits both of their shots. Domino hits both of their shots. So let's see, that is 3 hits so far. They're all using the same type of ammo. Billiam is a hunter, statistically, with probably some... No, I don't think he has any weird things going on yet from being Graven Guard.
Yeah, no, it's just... The only difference between him and the other elves is, you know, when they were 10 years younger, he was slightly better at punching. But that was 10 years ago.
Billiam gets a natural 1 with his first shot. Which... Let's see. What is that? You know what? I'm not going to activate that. Although something... Actually, I am, and I think what it is that he has the shot lined up, and he goes to release, and he sees that, like fresh shoots are growing out of his fingertips, and they've, locked onto the string of the bow, and so they, it doesn't release properly. And I think in the process he accidentally unstrings his bow, trying to get the
That's not the worst thing that's ever happened.
Yeah, get his hand detached from the bowstring. And so he spends the rest of his turn getting himself unhooked from his weapon and then putting it back together. So he does not actually get this second shot. So that is 3 hits. Let's see. Who would they have shot? Domino would have shot the big one on the bottom, that's for sure. And I think Mabel would have shot the little one that's by Foxglove. So, 1d6 for the little... Actually, I'll just roll 3d6, and the first die is for the little one. Hey, that's really good damage. 6, 5, and 5.
That's our crew.
Yes. And these are AP2 because they're standard bolts, which means only 1 of the damage reduction from the scorpions applies because they are DR3. So...
Is that because of the exoskeletons?
Yes. It's 5.
I feel like I probably shouldn't have thrown my spear.
Wishing you had a spear now.
Scroll down to what else is in this backpack.
Okay. It's 4, so the first scorpion making its damage save against DC 12.
It's just a land lobster.
It's just a land lobster. Makes it
Put it that way.
the big scorpion. Also DC 12. Passes it, and then DC 14. Fails. So that resets. And it is not dead. But it's wounded. So Maybell puts a crossbow bolt into like the hide of one of these big scorpions coming towards y'all, but it's still standing. Domino fires 2 arrows into it, into one of these giant ones, and it stumbles, but it continues advancing uphill. Crossbow or arrows go bouncing off of these things, while everyone else is like waking up groggily, taking out their bows or crossbows, as the case may be. V, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna swing up onto Gentleman Moose's back, which is my full action, but here's the thing, is I have 4 free actions per round, and I'm just gonna use those, pull out all the guns.
Yeah, that's fair. All those boarding pistols? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
I got the musket, which is 2-handed, and I got my derringer and all the boarding pistols. It's just as many guns as my little hands can carry.
You got a lot of
that's
hands.
I do have a lot of them.
Okay. And what's Foxglove gonna do?
She is going to enter her stance underfoot. And then she's going to go into 5-foot step into the square, and she is going to do a bite.
Okay. Bite that big old scorpion. That giant scorpion.
13.
That's a hit.
Yay.
Also, I'm just gonna step back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so you need to get slightly up the slope to get a better vantage point.
Yeah, you know. Better part of valor.
For 4 damage.
You just take a screenshot of Viper down here with 6 giant scorpions around her.
Do you have... she doesn't have any damage reduction, right? Foxglove?
Oh yeah, she's got lots of that.
Or sorry, not damage reduction. Armor piercing. No?
I'm gonna say no and look over all the things.
Okay, so the scorpion takes 1 point of damage. Alright, and now it's going to make its damage save against DC 11. Or, sorry, 10. It passes mightily. Alright. So that's the first round of combat. And it is time for our break. So, we will be back shortly. See y'all then.